progressive candidate Charles Booker has taken the lead over the establishment pick, Amy McGrath. Now, due to the election officials still counting mail-in ballots, we still don't know who the winner will be for sure. But remember, Amy McGrath earlier had a lead over Charles Booker, and it was not looking good for Booker. So in the very least, as things stand right now, Booker definitely has a good chance of being the Democratic nominee to run against Mitch McConnell for that Senate seat in Kentucky. So with 12% of the state's precincts reporting, Booker, whose candidacy has received the support of progressive lawmakers and groups around the world, or the country, I should say, led McGrath 45.1% to 40.2%, or just over 3,200 votes. The numbers changed a tiny bit the last time I checked, with Booker still holding tight on that lead. So that's good. And also hundreds of thousands of voters did cast absentee ballots that will take, unfortunately, several days to a week for election offices to count. Given the substantial number of remaining ballots that officials in Kentucky's two largest counties, Jefferson and Fayette, still have to process over the next several days, the race will almost certainly not be called until June 30th. So we still have to wait before officially calling it, but this is good news. It's a good update to a race that we care a lot about.
Let me officially say, here comes Booker. Okay, so on election night, they had a tiny amount of votes, and Amy McGrath had about a 10-point lead. It turns out that was totally illusory, and we told you on election night, because we're good at this, that Lexington and Louisville had not come in yet, and so that those numbers really didn't mean much, and that Charles Booker being a state legislator from Louisville and having honestly more progressive, more African American votes, but not just African American, more progressive votes in places like Louisville would actually do really well when those came in, and he has. Now, I got to temper your expectations because it's still a small percentage of the vote that has been officially counted. So it really could go either way. It's super exciting to see it go back and forth, and especially when our folks start to surge and win. But as we tell you on every election night, and come here on election nights, we're gonna do one. We got a super important one next Tuesday as well. Colorado, where you've got a battle royale, Romanoff versus Hickenlooper on Tuesday night, next Tuesday night. You got to check it out. I'm on pins and needles. Romanoff, the progressive, has closed a 40-point lead on Hickenlooper. Okay, jeez. So that's real. That's in real time. But on election nights, as we give you the results, it's just the reporting that's coming in. The votes already happened, right? So Booker or McGrath has already won. We just don't know who. So, but it's very exciting, and obviously at a bare minimum, it is super close when it should not have been super close. Do you know how much money Amy McGrath raised? $41 million. And it looks like right now she's neck and neck and might lose. So that is the strength of progressives. Now, why did Charles Booker surge from almost nothing in the polls within the last month to basically a tie at this point? Well, couple of things happened. He was prominently featured in the protests, and remember Breonna Taylor is from Kentucky, and that's where a lot of the big protests were happening. He got tear gas in those protests, and he was a leader in that community, but for all of Kentucky. Now, but really, honestly, most importantly, it was the endorsements and the media coverage. He got endorsements from Bernie Sanders, AOC, but not just those guys, Ayanna Pressley, Katie Porter. Now these wound up, Elizabeth Warren, and these wound up making a big, big difference because it then led to the press going, oh, he's legitimate. Before they considered him completely illegitimate and refused to cover him. But once the press started covering him, and then the papers in Louisville and Lexington, all of a sudden they endorsed him. And so with that media coverage, any progressive can win in the country. You just have to let the voters know that they have a choice. The minute they know they have a choice, we're totally in the ballgame. And you saw what happened on Tuesday as well. Jamal Bowman is going to Congress. He's a Justice Democrat, took out another Democratic leader. Mondaire Jones is going to Congress in the 17th district. And so, and more to come. There's still some close races that are going to be decided. But it was a fantastic night for progressives. So all of a sudden we are resurgent. And the number one thing, guys, is the endorsements leading to media coverage. The media coverage is what does it, but you need the endorsements for that. So I say to Bernie Sanders and yes, Elizabeth Warren and to AOC and to all of them, the squad, just Democratic incumbents that are in office right now, you have got to endorse. And the earlier you do it, the better. If they'd endorse Booker even earlier, right now it might not even be a contest. And so, look, and I say that not just because I'm excited about Booker and what could happen here in Kentucky, but also because you got Cori Bush. Cori Bush is an amazing Justice Democrat in Missouri. You gotta help her, right now. I don't wanna hear talk about, my colleague incumbent and all that nonsense, okay? You got Alex Morse in Massachusetts, and then you got non-just Democrats that are amazing, like Mike Siegel in Texas, Andrew Romanoff in Colorado, and one more. She's already passed her primary, but the general election is so important for her to win. Cara Eastman, a Just Democrat in Nebraska. So if these folks win, even if half of those win, it's over. Squad 2.0, Justice Democrats cavalry arrives. So I cannot overstate how important Tuesday was. And if Booker wins, we can beat McConnell. Imagine beating McConnell, the progressive in Kentucky.
Okay, well, since you mentioned the possibility of beating McConnell, during a recent MSNBC interview, Charles Booker was asked that question, and I actually really loved his answer. So let's take a quick look at that.
Mitch McConnell, unpopular. His favorable ratings, 23%, unfavorable, 46%. And yet, when you are polled against him, either yourself really or Amy McGrath, he gets like 52, 53% of the vote against either one of you. How do you beat him if he's that unpopular but still manages to poll ahead?
Well, Joy, when you come from a place like where I come from, the polls typically don't account for us because no one listens to us. Turnout tends to be lower in Kentucky because a lot of people have given up and they haven't felt like it made a difference. That's why our campaign is so important, because we're inspiring people to believe that things can actually be different, that this is bigger than beating him, that is for us. Which is why we're having folks that are organizing across Kentucky that have never been involved before. So we're gonna defy the odds and we're gonna defy those polls. And I know it's true. The only way you beat Mitch McConnell is by taking a fight to him, holding him accountable for what he's done, but then also inspiring people to know that if they speak up, no matter where they're from, what pronoun they use, whether they're walking in a wheelchair, whether they look like me or not, that they matter. We'll build the movement that money can't beat, that Mitch McConnell's corruption can't stop, and we'll win this. And there is nothing Mitch can do about it.
So I love the strength that he's really sharing in that interview and in that answer. And I just want to note that he does have a better chance, according to the polling that was shared in that segment. He has a better chance than Amy McGrath at beating Mitch McConnell. And I think a big reason why is because McGrath is trying to position herself as a pro-Trump Democrat. Why would pro-Trump Republicans vote for a pro-Trump Democrat when they can vote for a pro-Trump Republican like Mitch McConnell? So it just makes no sense.
It's not just Amy McGrath. You have to understand how asinine Chuck Schumer is. So he's the one who picked Amy McGrath and told all of his rich donors to give money to Amy McGrath. He's been doing this strategy for 20 damn years. Oh, okay, I'm gonna kiss Republican ass while I'm trying to defeat Republicans. It makes no sense. It's never made any sense, except some of those wealthiest donors, well, they like Republicans and they like corporate Democrats. It's not about beating the other guys, it's about being good boys and girls and listening to orders given from above. So, whereas Charles Booker says, I'm gonna take the fight to him. That's your only chance. Look, think about how irrational Democrats are, and so much the media went along with them for so long to say, we think that the Democrat who won't fight Republicans and Mitch McConnell is the one more likely than the one who will fight them. No one could be that blindingly stupid. It's the money, it's the money. Now, which leads me to the second point. Charles Booker says, okay, yeah, he might outraise me. On the other hand, Amy McGrath just outraised me by $40 million, and it looks like I might have kicked her ass. So that is a compelling argument for I don't give a damn how much Mitch McConnell has. Here comes Charles Booker. Yeah, I tell you right now, I can't wait for the final results. If Booker wins, we're gonna get McConnell. We're gonna get him, and we're gonna throw all in. But if McGrath wins, what are you gonna throw all in on a pro-Trump person?
Yeah.
Here comes Booker.
Thanks for watching the Young Turks. Really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.